Okay, so your vanity is difficult to replace because you can't find a prefab one. I would say think about getting a custom one made. I don't know if I can't tell just from the pictures like what the rest of your bathroom looks like. Um, Maybe if the bathroom were reconfigured, then you could find space for a more standard size vanity. If that is truly the only spot for a vanity, and maybe by you saying you're redoing it, it more so means like pulling this out and replacing it, but not actually redoing plumbing or tile, then maybe consider having a custom vanity made. And I know that sounds scary and very expensive, but what you could potentially gain from having a custom vanity is, well, one, it will be appropriately sized. It will span the exact length that you need it to. It will be the look that you want it to be, but also it could function storage wise, which seems very important in this bathroom. Better than what you have now. And because you could do something where there's drawers integrated into the vanity as opposed to cabinet doors that just open and then it's just one big open cavity. In order for drawers to work inside of the vanity, at least the one, so there's levels to your vanity, right? So immediately underneath the countertop, you're going to have probably 4.5 inches, 5 inches of a stagnant panel. And that stagnant panel is basically hiding the sink that's dropped underneath of your countertop. So that's stagnant, it's not usable, and you probably see it right now when you open your cabinet doors. Underneath of that, you have the opportunity to have a drawer. That drawer, if you pull it open, it will probably be U-shaped, and that's because you need that cavity in the center of the drawer so that when you close the drawer, it closes around your plumbing that's hanging down. But at least you have that drawer space, which in my opinion is way more useful than just an open box. Everybody has bottles and brushes and so many things that just make more sense when organized inside of a drawer as opposed to one big open cabinet box. And then your bottom drawer, it kind of depends on where your plumbing is located, but there's the opportunity for your bottom drawer to just be a full-blown drawer. And that would be ideal. But again, if not, it can still be U-shaped and still give you way more storage options than just the two cabinet doors. So think about it. That would probably be my solution. And then as for the cabinets above your toilet, if you really hate the look of it, you could do floating shelves. And then that way you have, you could do a pretty wood shelf, a decorative bracket, or if you hate shelving brackets, you could get the ones that are behind the shelves so that your shelves, are just floating. And then to organize the products that are supposed to go on it, just get some pretty baskets so that, I feel like toiletry bottles are 800 different colors and nothing ever matches. So having them inside of a basket will keep everything looking very clean. It'll be a lot easier for you to organize. And having the shelves will make that space feel more open than it does right now, because I know that cabinet probably makes it feel a little more closed off. Hey Connie, thanks for sending in such a cute picture with your little baby on it. So I don't actually hate your rug. I like that it has, contrasting color in it, because otherwise you have gray walls, you have gray curtains, a gray armchair, and then a blue headboard. So the rug just kind of introduces a little bit extra color and texture. So even if you were searching for a new rug, I would still encourage you to get one that has that much contrasting color in it. I will say that the placement of the rug feels a little off to me, And I'm not sure if that's because the rug only has a certain depth and you can't get it to stick out past the end of the bed unless you place it there. But a rug should really, at the very least, be halfway underneath of your nightstand, if not all the way under. If you can't get that kind of depth, then try to get it halfway under so that the front 2 feet of your nightstand are on the rug. If it still doesn't fit, then have it come, a few inches before the front of your nightstand. So, 3 inches, 4 inches, or 6 inches. Anything past that, and it kind of starts to feel a little disjointed. You want to think of it as like when you get in bed or when you get out of bed, when you turn and you step down, is that rug kind of part of that experience? When you have the rug that far away from the nightstand, you kind of imagine it being like 1 foot's on the rug and 1 foot is off. So I kind of want the rug to fully encompass that entire setup. And then as for adding more color, you could do anything with your bedding. It could be new pillowcases. It could be getting a couple throw pillows. So, a lumbar that has color in it, a couple Euro-size pillows. It could be a throw at the end of your bed. And all of those things will add texture and color and layers, and it'll make your room feel a little more finished. And finally, I think if it were me, I would add artwork above your headboard. And before you tell me that you are so scared to do that, I completely understand. I would say probably 75% of my clients are terrified to put artwork above their beds, especially here in California because we have earthquakes. But there's so many other reasons, like, oh yeah, my significant other swings their arms at night and they might knock it off, or like my baby will reach up and they'll push it off. But there is hardware that is not a nail in the wall with a wire that hooks over it. There is hardware, like, I don't know if anybody has ever tried to look at the back of artwork at a hotel, which I often try to do, but you really can't, and it's because of the hardware that they use. So there's hardware that it's basically like there's a piece that goes like this, like if this is the wall, there's a piece that goes like this, and on the back of the frame there's another piece that goes like this, and there's one on the top and one on the bottom of the frame. So the only way you can actually install this frame is to slide it onto the wall, like slide it this way. So that means the only way to take it off is, again, to hold the whole thing and slide it off. So there is no such thing as knocking it off or what have you. So don't be afraid to hang stuff over your bed, as long as you use the right hardware. And again, that will really make your room feel a little more finished, and kind of draw your eye up a little bit higher as well, because right now all of the attention is on the bottom half of your room, and by adding artwork to the wall, maybe adding some floating shelves in the corner behind the armchair, those things help bring your eye up and use all of the wall space that you have and make your room not feel quite so bottom heavy. Hi, so hiring a designer is not necessary. Will it make your life a lot easier? Yes. Redoing a kitchen is a big project. So there's so much involved, and there's so much involved in the timeline of everything. So, I mean, just figuring out your new layout is going to be a whole thing. And there's the conceptual side of the layout, and then there's the technical side of the layout. So just kind of figuring out like, oh, I want to add an island, or oh, I want to add a peninsula. So first you need to figure that out. Once you get that figured out, then you need to determine, where do I want drawers, and where do I want doors, and do I want adjustable shelves in here, and is this drawer going to be weird, because I want it to be weird, because I want it to have a specific depth so I can drop spatulas in, like from the top down. And maybe rather than a regular microwave that sits on my counter or in my pantry or built into a cabinet, maybe I want a drawer microwave that goes in my island. So, and I'm literally scraping the surface of the things that a designer already kind of knows and thinks through and times out perfectly, that you're gonna have to do on your own. And then you move into the construction side of things. So once you have selected your contractor is going to need shop drawings, whether it's from your cabinet maker or whether it's from a designer if you hire one. And once he starts demo, have you already ordered your cabinets? Have you coordinated when they're going to arrive? Have you figured out where all of your plumbing and electrical go? So again, these are all things that, you know, we as designers, we study, we do this day in and day out, and there are things that to us are kind of second nature to figure out at this point. And for you, it will be new and it will be a lot. So short answer, yes, you can totally do it yourself, just like you can do your own taxes. Do you want to because of the implications? I don't know. So if this is your first renovation project in your house, I would strongly consider finding somebody at the very least to consult. And that would kind of be my answer to your next question, which is, you know, what's the cheapest way to go about hiring a designer? Trying to find a designer that does consulting would probably be super helpful. I have consulted on some projects, mostly commercial projects, and on those, I mean, I can't even tell you how crucial it has been for me to be there to kind of guide the clients, answer these questions, kind of bring things up that they didn't even think through. So again, you can totally do it yourself, but if this is your first time, I definitely recommend at the very least to have someone consult, or hopefully your contractor is used to this type of project and can kind of guide you through the process. Hi, so your kitchen is very cute, and I am sure that the rest of your house is so beautiful. I love it. So my immediate answer for you is a rolling cart island. That way you can bring it up to the sink and then roll it next to you or behind you when you're cooking. I actually feel like this is the real solution to the problem, even if you do decide to gut and renovate the kitchen. How do I put this? So you have these arches so like there's one for the fridge and there's one for the stove, and that's part of the charm of the home. So even if you renovate it, I feel like that is probably something that you want to keep. And I don't actually think that moving the stove to where the fridge is or to the other side of the kitchen will solve that problem. Because again, if you're gonna keep those little coves, those coves are cute, but they also kind of feel like rooms. So your counter space that's within your stove cove is very isolated, and every time you want to move from your stove to another area, you kind of have to back out and move, and that's going to continue being the case. So another problem is if you move the stove to the other side of the kitchen, you have a window to deal with. And it looks like what you have going on where the stove is located is really nice. Like you have your vent built in. I assume it is at a optimal height so nobody's hitting their head. It's a nice thing to have your vent hood built in and kind of like closed off so that people can't see it. And that's like a really nice feature to have. And it would be costly to move your range to the other side and everything that goes along with it. Again, if you're renovating your kitchen, then everything kind of changes because you can redo all of your space planning. My first thought would be if you have the width in your kitchen, get rid of your peninsula and replace it with an island down the center, and it will essentially be a permanent version of what this bar cart solution, island cart solution is that I'm suggesting. So if you have full entry access into your kitchen and an island down the center, then at any given point, whether you're at your stove, you have a countertop behind you to turn around. If you're at your fridge, you have the island there to put all your groceries and unload and, you know, all of that. And then even at the sink, you'll have space behind you to set things down on the countertop, or, you know, shove it down the island so that you can access it from the stove. So it's kind of a loaded question, but yeah, my short answer is an immediate solution to the problem is actually a rolling cart. And if you have room, maybe you could store it at the end of your peninsula, as long as you can still get in and out of your kitchen. Hope this helps. Okay, last question is from my friend Julie. Julie, I do not hate these curtains. It doesn't matter that they're not perfectly stark white. Just judging from, you know, how you're describing how you're planning on decorating the room, I feel like you're still going to accomplish the same look even though they're not stark white. And there's nothing wrong with them being a little different than your walls, unless you're going for an ultra modern look, which it doesn't sound like you are. If you actually got white curtains that matched your walls, it would be very stark and again, very much like a ultra modern feel. Maybe just go buy a few curtains that you like and audition them in the space, and whatever you don't like, return it. But you'll have like a gut reaction to immediate, like just holding it up and saying like, oh no, I don't like this, or this looks terrible in the space. Because being in the room with the lighting and everything else that's in the room around it will make a difference. So audition curtains, designers do it all the time. And also don't feel obligated to get a solid color. Maybe look at patterns. It could add a little bit of visual interest to the room and kind of tie in like once you add in artwork and throw pillows and blankets and just give you that added depth. All right, that's all I have time for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And just as a reminder, if you haven't already, don't forget to download my free PDF guide on 6 ways to update your bathroom without doing a full gut renovation. So you do not need to break tile, move plumbing fixtures, break walls, or anything like that, and it will still make a very impactful difference. All right, thanks.